another billboard for the park.
What?
My legs would be twice the size, I reckon, and jacked up on me.
That was just a noise. Today is going to be a post-patch review of HappyFunland. Now, I actually like this game, and I think it's underrated. And I'm going to talk about the reasons why in this review. But I'm not going to overlook the fact that it still has a few issues. HappyFunland released in March 2024 to a largely negative response from critics who made fair criticism of the janky control scheme and click turning only, the boring combat, the poor audio mixing and loose feeling physics. It was regarded as a big disappointment and a line of other disappointments at the time. So why did I enjoy it?
Plus someone around the liquor store. Ooh, wait, the liquor store.
Well, to be fair, a patch was put out soon after release adding smooth turning, improved haptics and golf physics, as well as some welcome adjustments to the combat system, meaning it took less hits to dispatch an enemy with melee weapons, and more disposable cameras were added to the game for those one-shot kill moments. So perhaps you've just seen HappyFunland in the PlayStation sale and you're wondering, how does it stack up now in 2025 after the patches? First up, as always, is gameplay. At its core, I describe the game as an urban exploration sim with combat and... Oh, sorry, 1 second. Hello?
Hey, it's Larry. How's it hanging?
All good, mate. Yeah, just making a YouTube video.
Oh, I'm something of a YouTuber myself. Make sure to ask him to like and subscribe.
I always feel awkward doing that.
Well, how'd you expect your channel to grow?
I don't know, I just kind of think, if you build it, they will come.
Seems a bit short-sighted if you ask me. You know, you remind me of this fella I used to know. He was a young fella like you.
Okay, yeah.
Hate taking my advice.
Yeah,
now,
thanks, Larry, yeah.
He's like, Larry,
Bye.
I'm a busted
You're not even real.
Come on.
So I describe this game as an urban exploration sim with combat and mild horror elements. Unfortunately, the melee combat is still pretty poor. The physics of your weapon feels very loose, and the hit detection is all over the place. There are haptics, but they feel fairly minimal. You also have the option to use disposable cameras to take out enemies, and I recommend using these as much as possible because it's much easier, and you can take out groups at a time this way. Now, where have I seen this before?
Die, bad robot! Die!
So when you're not fighting, you'll be exploring the park, and you'll progress via a linear route across the park's different themed zones, and some background areas. On your journey is a mini golf game, which, to be honest, still seems quite clunky even after the patches, so don't expect walkabout mini golf levels of physics. Fortunately, you can get through the golf pretty quickly, often in just a few seconds. So now in these different zones of the park you will find rides, and these are the highlight of the whole game as they're basically bizarro versions of Disneyland rides, such as Pirates of the Caribbean and It's a Small World. During your journey you will also ride a roller coaster, a log flume, and a ghost train amongst others. A particular highlight for me was the Nutty Squirrel ride where you witness the park's squirrel mascot going on a drink and drugs fueled night out. I found it hilarious, but just know that there is a fairly adult tone to the humour throughout the game, so I wouldn't recommend this for your kids. I touched on it earlier, but this is a mild horror game. It depends on your sensibilities whether you'll be able to cope with it. But you are wandering around an abandoned theme park on your own at night, and there's a few jump scares. Usually it's just something appearing behind you and taking you by surprise, but I don't want to spoil too much. It's like a 3 out of 10 on the scary scale and doesn't reach the heights of macabre masterpieces like Horror Adventure VR. The graphics are quite solid considering this is an indie title with both good textures and draw distances. The standout of the game is the visual art style and the park itself. The park feels like it could have been real, and the story pushes you through the different areas at a fairly steady pace. And these theme park areas are pretty distinct. You have your bizarro Magic Kingdom, Adventureland, Westworld, Future World, and all the areas are rich with theme park paraphernalia and lore if you bother to read a lot of what is around you, which I did. A lot of care does seem to have been taken with the creation of this world, So if you try this out for the first time, I recommend really taking your time to properly explore and read everything. I can't stress enough the park and the rides are the selling point of the game, and they determine if you get any value from this, which I definitely did. So as you may have seen in the intro, one problem is some of the audio mixing. And yeah, that's rich from me with my £40 microphone. The guy who originally takes you into the park, Larry, well, he speaks to you intermittently throughout the game. Now, he has a strong US accent, but his voice is also quite distorted, so it's quite difficult to tell what he's saying, particularly when there's environmental audio as well. And then sometimes you will trigger some dialogue audio in the game, whilst the first guy is still speaking, and it mashes together so they're speaking over each other. And you can't change any of the audio levels in options either. It's not very often you're unable to do this in any game, but this is a game that really needed it. Okay, story. So, summed up, Larry, who you meet at the beginning of the game, basically hires you to go into the park, to explore and uncover its secrets. There is a bit more in terms of plot and a twist, which I won't spoil, but it's not a deep story. At the beginning it just serves to push you along when you're inside the park. I'd say the story ramps up properly in the last 30 minutes or so of the game, and I think it's worth sticking around just to see what happens. I racked up about 3 hours playtime for each of my playthroughs, and that was taking my time to really look around. It's a pity that you can't return actually to previous areas you've unlocked, as it would have been cool to be able to access all the rides once you've completed the game. Instead, as far as I can tell, if you want to ride a specific ride, you're going to have to play the game to that point where you get on it. There are collectibles in the game if you want to try and run through and get all of these, but there's no platinum trophy, so just keep that in mind. Now, this sounds like it's been a negative review really, and in some ways it should have been, because even after the patches there's still a lot of ways you could improve this game, particularly when it comes to the combat and VR jank. And I stand by the criticisms I've made, and if any of these put you off, then fair enough. But I also have to consider, like Phasmophobia, which has a lot more jank than this, I have had a good time with it. The rides really were highlights. I enjoyed the crass humour, and I genuinely liked walking around and feeling like an urban explorer in a theme park. So if this also appeals to you, and you can put up with some of the jank I've spoken about, then I recommend picking it up in a good sale. If you want a polished experience with awesome combat, then this probably isn't for you. I'm going to cover a few more horror games on the build up to Halloween. If you see them, do check them out. If this video was useful to you, please drop a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Woo-wee! I'm gonna head out into the city and find me a nut.